from Glendale High School. Good evening and welcome to tonight's Cable 20 High School Game of the Week. It's the Kickapoo Chiefs against the Glendale Falcons. Hi, I'm Rob Evans, joined tonight by Tom Mast. Ed Beach under the weather, and Tom has consented to fill in for us on a last-minute basis. Tom, I appreciate you joining us. Should be a good ball game tonight with Glendale against Kickapoo.
Well, it's going to be a good one to watch. It'll be a fun one to call, Rob, because there'll be action up and down this floor. And when these two step on the floor, magic just somehow seems to happen.
And when you look at these two matchups, even though Glendale has the height advantage with Pulowski and Carden inside, Kickapoo has been shooting the ball awful well, and the last time these two teams played, it was a two-point game.
Well, there's no question it'll be close. The perimeter game has barely been solid for Kickapoo the last few weeks, and like you say, that probably will offset or should offset maybe the inside game. But Pulowski and Carden, certainly a big, tough duo to handle in there. We'll see how the Chiefs do against them this evening.
And as far as winning, both ball clubs coming in on winning streaks. The Chiefs have won 3 in a row and stand 13-8, while Glendale is 18-3, and they won 2 in a row. And what a turnaround for Glendale after the year they had a year ago.
Well, they struggled. Mike Keltner, you know, he knew from the start of the season last year that the talent base just wasn't there, and they weathered the storm more or less. Yeah. Knew that this crop was coming along, and they've really put it together. They've got a fine season in the works right now.
And as far as that goes, you talk about weathering the storm a year ago. You can look at basically Stinger getting put in the lineup as point guard as a sophomore. You're going to get sophomore mistakes out of him when you put him out there, but they paid the price last year. They're reaping the benefits this year.
Well, Stu Stinger, without a question, he runs that ball club out there. He makes things happen. He will occasionally break through and have the high-scoring night, but any club in Springfield is only, I think, going to be as good as the man out front, and Stinger certainly doing a fine job for the Falcons. But, of course, when you look on the Chiefs side, they got great outside talent there in Page and
Rob Samuels, Tony
yeah.
Montez,
Tony
also
Montez,
out
exactly.
there. It seems like it's a different player every night. The other night in their last win, they beat Parkview the other night, and Montez stepped to the forefront. Before that, it was Josh Page a week ago against Central.
Yeah, Josh Page had been on a tear. He fell off a little bit against the Parkview game, but that's the way Kickapoo has been playing this season. Someone steps to the front each and every night and takes a leadership role and has taken Roy Green's ball club a lot further than many people thought they would be at this point in the season.
Well, you see both coaching staffs down there trying to scare each other to death, and we're about ready to go with tonight's ball game. It's the Glendale Falcons and the Kickapoo Chiefs. We'll be back with a tip right after this. Rob Evans joined by Tom Mast at Glendale High School, where the Chiefs and the Falcons will get together. This I want to say a 52-50 game the last time they played, or a 54-52 ball game. The score was low, and it was close.
Very well, as it should have been. That at the time those two played, the previous time, they were both playing at about the same level. They were kind of up and down. Nobody had really solidified themselves. Since they played, they've both got a few more ball games under their belt, and I think a few more mature moments under a lot of players, and it's made a big difference. As you know, Scott Purrier, the news leader, has indicated it's a toss-em kind of week tonight, you know, in city play. Just about anybody can beat anybody, and it'll probably come down to the last game of the season to determine who's going to be the Ozark Conference champion and probably who will have bragging rights in the city as well.
In conference play, you have Glendale and Hillcrest at 5-2, Kickapoo and Central at 4-3, and Glendale is playing Kickapoo tonight, where Hillcrest and Central are getting together. And the other Ozark Conference game tonight has Parkview playing against Joplin. So you've got a chance, really, if the Chiefs and the Bulldogs win tonight, you'll have 4 teams tied at 5-3 in the Ozark Conference.
Yeah, it could be a real mess. It'd be a mess, a good kind of mess to have, though, Rob. Really develops interest, gets the school spirit lifted, and it's a good crowd here tonight. They won't quite pack it in here this evening, but anytime you can come close on a Friday night in Springfield to pack it in and develop the enthusiasm, it's a good turnout.
You take a look at these ball games down the stretch, and really you've got a case of the two teams that are playing well are matched up with each other. You got the Chiefs coming in 3 in a row, Glendale coming in of having won 2 in a row, whereas both Hillcrest and Central are coming off losses, and they're playing each other, so they're trying to get on the winning track.
Well, in Hillcrest, I know Coach Quinn at Hillcrest would dearly love to have the Joplin loss back. That was just one you didn't figure into the books. They just didn't play well, did not execute, picked up that 3rd conference loss, or you really would have a dogfight at the top going into this evening, Rob.
The wild card, perhaps, in the conference, Ron White and the Parkview Vikings?
They could be the spoiler, maybe. I think they're the ones that, you know, they're 1-6, and they've got a few tough games with some people. I know Glendale still has to play them down the stretch. they could be the ball club, you know, with a player of Shane Amstut's quality out there. You know, if he gets hot on a night, who knows what they can do. I think the spoiler role probably for the Vikings at best right now.
Actually the third to the last game of the regular season. Next week here on Cable 20, it's Greenwood and Springfield Catholic. And then our final game, if everybody continues to win, it could be Glendale against Hillcrest for the conference title if they take care of their business between now and then.
Well, and assuming the two of them, let's say Glendale and Hillcrest, will project and say that the two of them continue to play well, what a ball game that'll be, Rob, because, of course, in the case of Glendale, that Hillcrest loss looms largely on their schedule. They were playing flat the night Hillcrest came in here. Hillcrest just played outstanding that evening and crept away from the gymnasium here with an unforeseen victory.
Both ball clubs are back out on the floor. It's Glendale against the Kickapoo Chiefs. Let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineups before the national anthem, and then we'll catch the lineups again so you can set them when they're introduced to the crowd. But just to take a quick look at them, Kickapoo is going to start a lineup that's been very successful for them as of late. Josh Page and Rob Samuels will be the guards. Jay Jones will be the center. Tony Montez and Ryan McElwan will be the forwards for the Chiefs. As for the Glendale Falcons, they'll have Stu Stinger and Brian Groh in the backcourt. At 6'9", Andy Pulowski will be in the middle. Brad Forbacher and Alex Carden will be listed as the forwards.
You know, Rob, we mentioned the outside perimeter game that Kickapoo has to rely on because of their size. But keep an eye tonight on Brad Forbacher and Brian Groh. When those two decide to drop it in from long range, they're virtually unstoppable. Talked to Coach Keltner yesterday, and he seems to think that Groh maybe has an extra foot difference over Forbacher, has a little deeper range. So you could have a tough inside game in the contest this evening, or by the same token, you could have a wild shooting night if these two begin to light it up.
It's the Chiefs and the Glendale Falcons. We'll be back with the tip-off right after this. The lights are out as the Glendale Falcons are introduced to this crowd, and they will face the Kickapoo Chiefs.
Well, they do it right here, I'll tell you. You want to talk about developing enthusiasm and getting the crowd behind it. Mike Keltner's really put together quite a program out here in the last decade or so. Folks are really excited about it, and the lights going out. Fortunately, the lights come back on quickly. You go to some gymnasiums, Rob, and it takes 10 minutes for the lights to get back.
You can't turn them out like that. So there is something to be said about the older buildings here in town. You mentioned both these coaches have put together pretty good programs. Roy Green in his 10th year has won 180 ball games, lost just 96. Had 2 Final Four appearances. Mike Keltner, 2 Final Four appearances in 9 years, 176 wins, and only 73 losses. The officials tonight, Wade Terrell and Stacy Estes.
Rob, I would be very surprised tonight if this ball game gets out of the 50s. I just think it'll be very, very defensive-minded, and unless one of the clubs gets super hot, you're not going to see a tremendous amount of offense.
The tip controlled by Glendale as Pulowski tips it to Carden, and we're underway. The Falcons shooting at basket right. Carden down on the block, gets a pick from Pulowski and hits the reverse layup. Good inside move as Pulowski was right there. I don't know if it was designed that way or not, but he set a pick on the inside as if Carden needed the extra help at 6'6" inside.
Carden has the size to bull his way through, and nobody was there to challenge.
Montez has Stinger pick his pocket. So Glendale with a 2-0 lead, and the basketball. Groh for 3. It's 5-0.
Well, that's what I mentioned. Brian Groh certainly has the range, and when he gets hot, he's one of the streakiest shooters you'll see in the city.
So Glendale inside the first 45 seconds is up 5-0. Montez running one-hander, good, and a foul. Foul is going to be called on Brian Groh, and that will be his first. And Montez with a chance to make it a 2-point game.
Nice little running shot that time by Montez. And Montez, you know, I mentioned Forbacher, and I talked a little bit about Groh being streaky shooters. Montez, Samuels, and Page might be three of the most consistent streaky players in the city. When they get on it, there's no telling.
Montez makes it a 5-3 game. The Chiefs are going to go to the press. A key might be how well Glendale handles it, and a foul is called on Jay Jones.
Well, they were trying to trap Stinger down low, and they had him there, and I think really Jones maybe just leaned a little too much, and Roy Green's not happy about it, steps out and kind of shrugs his shoulders.
Pulowski gets it inbounds from Carden. Stinger in the backcourt with the ball. He's in a bit of trouble, and a travel is going to be called on Stu Stinger.
Good trap work that time. Kickapoo denying Stinger. The problem that time is I really think Pulowski came down for the inbounds and then instantly threw it deep back into the corner. Really kind of boxed Stinger in just a little bit.
So the Chiefs to inbound, having trouble. 5 seconds will send it back the other way.
Two tight ball clubs, Rob. We've got some points on the board, but there's still a lot of nerves on edge.
This time it comes into Groh. He is double teamed. Gets it back to Stinger. Still in the backcourt. He'll beat it with a dribble. Carden on the perimeter. Glendale will set things up with a 2-point lead at 5-3.
Well, Kickapoo's going to try to play man with him here. See if they can deny the big game inside.
Right away, you see them try to play behind Pulowski, and I'm not sure that that can be done at about 6'4".
Well, 6'4" to 6'9", and Pulowski, Andy has really developed his turnaround shot in the last few weeks, the few times I've seen him play.
Stinger in the basket, comes back out. Pulowski with the rebound. And Pulowski makes it a 7-3 ball game.
Well, if anybody ever asks you what's the advantage of having a 6'9" player, Pulowski showed you right there. Just tremendous height advantage on the inside, and nothing Kickapoo can do about it under those circumstances.
Montez one-on-one against Groh. Dribble drive into the lane, puts the runner in, and a foul is going to be called on Forbacher before the shot.
Forbacher riding the hip just a little bit there. Knocked it, got him on the floor. Wade Terrell says it will just be an inbounds on the ball.
So Montez to trigger the inbounds play, and we've played 2 minutes. Page gets it inbounds. Feeds it inside to Jones. Carden knocks it away. Stinger pulls up. Baby jump, won't fall. And Brad Gillespie with a rebound for the Chiefs. He might be a key tonight as he comes in off the bench.
Stu'd like to have that back and use the glass, I think.
Samuels spins, does use the window, and scores. Rob Samuels makes it a 7-5 ball game. 5.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Groh to Pulowski. They force him out a little farther on the floor than he wanted to be, so he kicks it to Groh for a 3.
If he finds the range, things could happen.
Glendale with the score doubled here in the early part of the ball game. Live from Glendale, Montez in the corner. We get a baseline violation as Montez stepped out of bounds and then came back in to catch the pass.
4 turnovers now in the early going against the Chiefs.
Glendale with 1 in the early going.
Now 2.
Jones off the press, gets the layup. Jay Jones with his first basket of the night. He had a great game last week against Central. But then again, he had the advantage in height then. Now he's at the disadvantage. Stinger, no good.
I think it's going to go against Carden. He's going to come up. I think Carden was over the back that time.
And he hit the deck hard. I thought for a minute the way he was sandwiched in there that he might have been hurt. It is going to be the foul on Carden, his first, team's third.
Thing I see Kickapoo doing right now, Rob, that I don't know if they're going to be able to continue to do is allow Glendale uncontested perimeter shooting. I think they're going to have to get a hand in someone's face, or the Falcons are going to be able to be very effective.
10-7, they lead by 3, and Gillespie gets it inside, make it a 10-9 ball game. Groh to Forbacher in the backcourt. Stinger still not into the front court, beats it with a dribble. Forbacher comes over to help relieve the pressure.
Well, I'll tell you, Chiefs really doing a good trapping job.
Forbacher with 5 points as he hits the 3, and it's 13-9. It's ironic Kickapoo's the team that is known for the outside shooting, but Glendale has 3 threes in the first quarter. Samuels with the ball outside.
Now this is as long as we've seen anybody really delay on offense.
Montez for the tray. He's got 6.
Well, you know what I told you about there not being a whole lot of offense? I think I might be wrong, Rob.
It's 13-12. Grow thought about it, missed it. Carden muscles it up, no, and a foul.
That might have been too close for Brian Grow. He was only about 12 feet away. He needed another 7 or 8 feet. Foul this time is going to go against Gillespie. It's going to be his first personal, and that should be 2 team fouls now on the Chiefs.
Pulowski will sit out, and Justin Foley is into the lineup. Alex Carden will shoot 2. Carden will move to the center spot, and he missed the first free throw. Grow with 6 early. Forbacher with 3. Pulowski and Carden with 2 apiece. Make it 3 now for Alex Carden. Montez with 6. Jones and Samuels have 2 apiece, and we get a foul as Jones tries to put it up, and Carden with his second.
Well, Jones played very smart that time. He went in against Carden, contested him, pump fake, and when he turned, he got Carden committed in the air, and Carden now has his second personal foul, and that's a serious situation for the Falcons here with still 3 minutes to go in the first quarter.
First free throw by Jones is no good. Jones had a great game last week against Central. As we mentioned, he had 22 points, 12 in the first half of that ball game. And he gets the second free throw. Give him 3 points. 1 point game, Glendale with the lead. Foley is going to be fouled as Wade Terrell comes up from the outside, and
I think it may be Gillespie, and if it is, no, they're going to go the other way with it.
Josh Page is going to pick up his first.
That could have been serious if had it been the second on Gillespie.
Glendale inbound with 3 minutes to go. Foley at the foul line. With the dribble, down to the block. Fades, shoots, and scores. 16-13, Glendale, 2:45 to go, first quarter. Samuels with a lob down to the block to Gillespie, and he cleans house, and there's his second foul.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gillespie's upset about it, but I think that the Falcons did a good job of giving weak side help that time, and when Gillespie turned to make his shot, he really leveled. I believe it was Grow in there that took the hit.
Yeah, Grow came over to help out and was standing stationary, and Gillespie turned with his shoulder. Really didn't see him there. And hit him with his shoulder going up. So the second foul on Gillespie will send McElwain back into the lineup. Carden underneath. Almost the same identical play on the other end.
Boy, and Roy
a different
Green,
official and no call.
Roy Green is just absolutely beside himself. He wanted the same call.
Should have gotten it, I think, Tom.
I think you're right. Carden really leveled him.
3-point shot by Page is no good. Jones with the rebound. Outside to Page, running one-hander. High off the glass, goes through. 18-15, Glendale. Under 2 minutes now to play in the first quarter.
File that one under Dipsy Doodle for Josh Page.
Yeah. Stenger out front. And Montez pressures Glendale into a turnover, and Wade Terrell has to make the call from the far side of the floor, and he said it was tipped. Well, Stacy Estes was on this side and didn't make the call, so Wade had to call it.
Well, and Roy Green was standing maybe 8 feet from the play, and we saw the play cleanly, Rob, and it was off Forbacher. There was no question that time.
Minute 40 to go in the quarter. Carden down to the block. He's playing with 2 fouls here in the quarter. Foley into the lane, off the glass, good, and a foul.
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of intensity for these two ball clubs right now. See which
McElwain gets hit for the foul.
Yeah, McElwain, and that's going to be 5 now against the Chiefs. Falcons have got a 5-point lead. And Foley, boy, you talk about coming off the bench to give them a big boost. And he's done it right there, Rob. He's got 5 points.
Pulowski is in, and Carden will sit down with 2 fouls
I
here
think that's a good move, because I'm going to tell you what, I think they were really beginning to work on Carden. And Alex said they kept lobbing the ball inside to him. That third foul could have come rather quickly.
So Glendale by 6. Samuels out front to Montez. McElwain down on the post, and a foul is called. Foley, as McElwain caught the ball, he was standing up straight, but what he did was he put both hands right on the numbers to kind of stop McElwain from getting inside and scoring.
Just don't like seeing that, do the officials. That evens the team fouls at 5 apiece. The Chiefs will play it in underneath.
They get it into the lane, and Pulowski caused McElwain to alter the trajectory of the shot.
Well, his presence made it happen.
Foley misses. Jones the rebound. Down to 1:10 to go in the first quarter. Page has been quiet here in the first quarter, just 2 points, and really hasn't tried that many outside shots. McElwain all alone. Foley with a bump and a foul.
Well, Foley was there a half step too late, and by the time he got there, he was not in position to play straight up and down. Got the lean in, got his second. So now you've got 2 fouls on Carden, 2 on Foley, and 2 on Kickapoo's Gillespie.
58 seconds to go, and Ryan McElwain will be at the line. 6'4" junior with the first free throw that's no good.
You know, it's so ironic that last season the Chiefs had the big towering inside game, and they've had to alter things a bit. This year it's the Falcons playing with the bigger inside people.
McElwain with his first free throw. Underwood comes in, and Montez will sit down. Underwood, a 6-foot senior. Pulowski with the ball in bounds. Anytime the Falcons have trouble getting it in, all you have to do is lob it up high, and Pulowski will be there to get it. Groh saves him there.
Well, that press has been most effective. Even though the Chiefs trail, they have really made the Falcons work very hard for everything they've gotten here in the first quarter.
This is one of those ball games, Tom, that it doesn't matter how late it is in the season. You have no trouble getting each team up to play.
Well,
and you can press for the entire 32 minutes if you so choose.
Well, you've got ball players out here that played together in junior high, and for the last couple of 3 years they've seen each other in freshman and JV play, and it just builds great enthusiasm, and of course the same kind of emotion on the other side of town tonight with Hillcrest and Central.
Stinger down to 10 seconds. Groh all alone for 3. Vorbacher with a tip at the buzzer. At the end of 1, it's 23-16 Glendale. The end of 1, Glendale with a 23-16 lead, and after Groh got the wide open shot, it was Vorbacher on the offensive glass that got the baby jump to put it back in.
Well, offensive boards, coaches will tell you that's the key to winning and the key to getting beat. And Vorbacher in the right spot there. Boy, Rob, if you're the Falcons, you got to like what you saw in the first quarter. You've got 3 players with 5 and 1 player with 6. You've got tremendous offensive balance working through the first 8 minutes there. The Chiefs have kind of spread it out. Page and Samuels have a pair, so does Gillespie. And then you've got Montez with 6, so he's really been the only gun going out there for him.
Glendale with Carden and Mike Morlock back into the ballgame. Montez comes in for the Chiefs. Montez gets Carden straight up in the air, missed the shot, but McElwain climbs on Morlock's back for the rebound.
Coming up over the side, Stacey Estes signals his second personal. Now that will now be 16 fouls against the Chiefs.
So both teams will be shooting free throws the rest of the way now.
And they've pulled the press off now, Rob, and a little problem could be here when you start to roll up and rack up those fouls. You've got to be careful about the press.
Morlock at the left elbow. Groh tries to take baseline. His man falls down, and Groh hits the jump shot. Groh now with 8. And the Chiefs trail by 9 just into the second quarter, and Roy Green wants timeout.
Well, he needs it, Rob. He's got to get it under control before it slips away.
7:24 to go in the first half. Glendale by 9, and we'll be back. Rob Evans along with Tom Mast, who is sitting in for an ailing Ed Beach tonight as Glendale and Kickapoo get together for the second time this year. 25-16, Glendale with the lead, and Roy Green with a timeout to try and get things under control here.
Well, and his two big men, Gillespie has 2 fouls and McQuillan has 2 fouls. There's some serious trouble with their inside game. Those guys have got to play very protective now.
Jones out on the perimeter. Looks like they're going to clear the floor. Let Montez drive into the lane. He missed the runner. And Carden with a rebound. We played a minute here in the second quarter. Groh is going to draw a foul. Rob Samuels called for the block.
Well, Groh's just having the kind of night every player wants to have. They're leaving you alone. They're letting him shoot, and that time they almost let him drive. Samuels had to step in and prevent the baseline give that time.
We have seen Groh have a couple of real good ball games, one here early in the season, in which he had an outstanding second half in a ball game. Free throw is good. He's now with 9 points.
You know, I think if I'm Roy Green right now, what I'm going to do on offense is I'm going to go in and at least try to work on Alex Carden. Try to get him to commit, maybe get the 3rd foul out of him and get their inside game weakened a little bit.
11 points the lead. Montez shoots an air ball from the head of the circle.
Well, Chiefs are pressing just a little bit here. Need a little more patience on the shot.
That game we were talking about, Brian Groh against Ed Liliensack, and Hazelwood Central had 26 in that one. Also saw him in which he had 17 in the blue and gold against Branson. So we've seen him with some good games this year, and he has 10 in the first quarter of this one, or the first half, I should say.
Josh Page got away with a bit of a bump that time.
Pulowski in the lane for the layup.
Well, it's getting pretty serious for the Chiefs right now. Down 13 and still 6 minutes to go in the half. Plenty of time to trim into the lead, but also a lot of ways to go before this thing can get away from him.
Pulowski reaches over Gillespie. The ball is loose on the floor, and it's out of bounds to the Chiefs. Forbacher is back in, and Groh is going to get a seat.
Well, boy, they got quality minutes out of Brian Groh and quality points.
A lot of minutes. About 10 in the first half and 10 points as well. Samuels takes Stinger into the lane. The runner is no good, and a foul is called at the foul line on Stinger, and that'll be his first.
Well, that takes the Falcons to 17 fouls, so the fouls are split evenly, but in the case of some of the big people, they're stacked up against them a little bit more than the coaches would like.
Roy Green returning to the scene of some of his earlier coaching exploits. He was a longtime assistant here at Glendale.
Spent a lot of years working under the great Jack Roberts, learning the trade, and has done, like you say, some exceptional work at Kickapoo.
3 points now for Samuels. And who's going to forget the year that Jack Roberts and Eddie Baker, the two coaches, went out with injuries, and Green took a team against Stepanovich and DeSmet, Dressler, and those guys to within about 8 points of the Final Four. We get a whistle and a foul underneath, and a foul is on Gillespie, and that's his 3rd.
Well, here's the difference in a player being 6'4" and a player being 6'9". If you make the proper lob to the 6'9" man, he's got the advantage. He reached up, got the ball, and all Gillespie could do was hang on for the ride.
McElwain will come in, and Gillespie will sit down.
Well, and Gillespie's going to have to sit a long time. I would think he'll be able to start the second half, but with that 3rd foul, very serious situation for him.
Pulowski will send the free throw on the way, and he hits it. Andy now with 5 points in the game. He's developed. Mike Keltner said early in the year, he said he may not be doing as well as he's going to do later on in the year, but he's going to develop into a very good player by the month of February, and as usual, Coach K is right on the button with him. He's turning into a nice player at 6'9". Montez missed another one from out front. Forbacher put a little pressure on him that time, and Glendale with a rebound, leading 31-17. Forbacher at the foul line to Stinger. Into the lane. Shot was altered. Pulowski ends up tipping it over to Montez.
I remember when Pulowski came back to Glendale after a year at Catholic and how absolutely raw his abilities were. And Coach Keltner at the time said, you know, we think we've got something we can work with here, and that proved to be the case. And Carden may have just gotten his third foul.
He picked up foul number 3, so Carden is going to take a seat for a while. And Foley's going to come back in, and Foley now is going to be coming in with 2 fouls himself. Brian Groh will come back into the lineup.
Now, I think Carden, you kind of know that 3-foul rule. He was waiting, and when he saw Foley come in, there was no hidden secret. He was going to take a seat.
Groh comes in now at the point. Stinger will sit down. So Glendale with Groh, Morlock, Forbacher, Foley, and Pulowski. Free throw is good by Jay Jones. He has 4 points now in the ball game. The Chiefs have Page, Samuels, Jones, McElwain, and Montez out there. Free throw is short. Rebound, battled for, held ball, and Glendale will get it.
Well, Rob, the Chiefs are now 5 of 9 from the free throw line. And you can't miss too many opportunities.
Morlock with the ball inbounds.
With Stinger out, here's a good time. Here's a good time to press, and it almost works.
Well, and Roy Green went right back to the press the minute Stinger checked out of the lineup. Pass knocked out of bounds by Kickapoo as they were looking for Pulowski in the lane.
Well, it's not that Groh can't run the point effectively, but he's just not nearly the press breaker that Stu Stinger can be out there. And smart move by the Chiefs.
Inbounds to Groh. Missed the high arching 3 from the corner. Samuels up floor. Page, belly up to the 3-point line for his first tray of the ball game. He has 5 points for the night.
Well, and the Chiefs really needed that. Cut the lead down to 10. It was really starting to get away from them.
First half winding down. Foley. Forbacher tries to answer and does. Forbacher now with 8, including a pair of 3s.
What I said about this game not getting out of the 50s, you can discount that, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, it shows what we know.
Yep, the experts have spoken again.
Because based on their last performance, I thought it would be a very relatively low-scoring game and very tight. And both teams have been getting it up and down the floor, and Glendale has had a pretty good lead, and they lead by 13 presently.
Josh Page thought he was an NBA player there momentarily, made the fake from 23 feet.
Thing is, Glendale bought it. Now he tries the 3, and it's no good. Foley off to Morlock, who will bring it up in transition. He's going to penetrate into the lane, spins at the foul line. Groh to Pulowski. A little head fake, and Samuels steals it away. Brought the ball down low where the little guy could get to it.
Absolutely. That's the biggest advantage that Pulowski has is when he comes down with the ball, he's not always in control of it.
Kickapoo on the perimeter. 3:15 to go in the first half. 34-21, Glendale with the advantage. Stinger's going to come in at the next break as Samuels penetrates. Underwood with the ball outside. Down on the block, and he is going to draw a foul on Pulowski, and that will be Pulowski's first.
And I'll tell you, for the Falcons to get to this point, the 3:04 point in the half, and Pulowski just get the first, that's pretty good.
When you figure that you've got, 10 fouls out of Pulowski and Carden, and you've used 4, and Pulowski only has 1 of them. So
yep.
The good news is Pulowski has 1. The bad news is Carden is on the bench with 3, and Stinger comes in. Morlock goes out. Underwood will shoot 2 free throws. It's 34-22, Glendale. Underwood gets both of them, and Montez in to replace him.
Well, the Chiefs are hanging around, Rob, trying to avoid a big deficit at the half and see if they can really trim it back.
Well, they've got the 3-point shooting to be able to do that. So all they have to do is get on a nice little run, and those baskets will add up before you know it.
Yeah, if they can get to the end of the ball game and be down single digits, they're going to be in pretty good shape.
Forbacher missed it. Rebound tipped out long, and a foul is called on Samuels after the ball went out of bounds.
And I don't really understand what Rob was thinking there, because the ball was cleanly gone. There was nothing that he could do. And given the space to jump in the gym here, there's not a lot of diving room along the edge, so not what you'd call one of the more heads-up plays.
What it does is, instead of giving Glendale the ball, you send him to the free throw line, and Samuels didn't want to go over and sit down next to Roy Green, but he had to.
Yeah, there's always a seat available when you make a mistake like that, and it's usually right next door. Groves now 3 for 3 from the line.
4 for 4 from the stripe, has 12 points.
Falcons have not missed from the line, Rob, a perfect 8 of 8.
And you got to remember now, we've been shooting the bonus almost the entire second quarter.
I'm going to correct myself. They're 8 of 9. They did miss once.
Jones missed the easy pop inside, or should I say the short one. Pulowski to Stinger. Groh takes baseline and steps out of bounds. Samuel's trip to the bench is very, very brief, and after getting straightened out or getting the instructions straight.
Imagine there was a small, what you'd call a mini lecture given on the sideline there.
13 points the deficit, 36-23 with 2:15 to go in the quarter. Ball batted around. Pulowski to Foley. Back to Pulowski, and they miss connections. And Groh touches it last.
Roy Green's wanting a push. He'll take the ball, but he wanted a foul. There you see indicating. Pulowski and on Foley there had the right idea. Pulowski at midcourt on the dribble was in what you call strange territory.
Something that happens when you got a high school JV varsity doubleheader, and that is sometimes your frustrations at the officiating, since the same officials work both games, will carry over, and I think that might be a little of the dissatisfaction by the Chiefs with Stacey Estes right now. Pulowski in the lane. He'll turn, face the hoop, miss the short one, and Samuels with a rebound.
Well, the Falcons have had opportunities here, Rob, to really break it open. And have not done it.
Page with the air ball. And a travel is going to be called on Forbacher, and Montez giving the traveling indication right in Forbacher's face. And Mike Keltner calls him over and says, don't worry about that. You need to worry about why you drug your foot, and instead of looking down floor, you were looking cross floor.
Exactly.
Montez loses his footing. Ball is loose. Forbacher picks it up. He's in trouble, and an offensive foul is going to be called. And Mike Keltner is upset with both officials now.
Well, what Keltner wanted was a foul against Page, pushing Forbacher in the back before Forbacher was trapped. And of course, I agree probably with the call against Forbacher. He was swinging wildly in there, but there might have been some pushing prior to that.
Well, what's the old adage? Usually the second foul gets caught in those situations.
Almost always.
Ball goes to the high post, and Pulowski picks up his second.
Beginning to add up now against the Falcons. That's 11 team fouls against them, Rob.
Minute 2 to go in the quarter, and Jay Jones to the line.
Really, the Falcons at this point, Rob, they they have 36 on the board. Easily could be in the mid-40s had they been able to connect on everything they've had the chance to do.
Free throw goes down, and Jones with 5 points will now get the bonus. After a high-scoring first quarter, the second quarter is returned more to normal now. It was 23-16. At the end of one, it's now 36-25 after Jones gets both of them. Groh's in trouble. Samuels reaches in. He now has 3 fouls.
Boy, third foul under a minute. That's the cardinal sin. You don't commit that one. And I tell you, Groh was in jail because he was ready to throw the ball back court, Rob. And I think if the Chiefs had realized it, they might have backed off a little bit and not made the reach in.
Sometimes, though, when you're trying to press and be aggressive, you don't think about those things when you're out there. Morlock will come in for Glendale at the next break.
Boy, Brian Groh, 5 for 5 at the line. He's knocking them down in fine style this evening.
Forbacher sits down. Forbacher has 2 fouls. 55 seconds to go. Grow gets them both. 14 first half points, and it's 38-25.
If I were the Falcons, I think I might have set Pulowski down just to be careful, but they're going to try to finish the half with him.
Montez from the foul line. He has 8, his first basket of the second quarter. It's 38-27. Glendale might hang on to the rock for the last shot.
Well, you've got a double-digit lead. The one thing you don't want to do is give it up and let them cut it down to the single.
Stenger will do something when it gets down to about 10 seconds. Pulowski in the lane, turns, shoots, and scores.
It's about the way you draw it up.
Page will have to hit a long one, and it's not going to count. Had it gone in, it would not have counted. It was after the shot, and we're at the half. 40-27, Glendale. We're back at the half at Glendale High School, where the Kickapoo Chiefs are trailing the Glendale Falcons 40-27 here at the half. And were we off base or what in the first half?
Well,
we said it was going to be a low-scoring, tight ball game.
Well, you think two teams like this in an emotional game will come in, they'll be tight, they won't shoot the ball well, they'll make a lot of mistakes. There were early turnovers, but then the two of them kind of corrected it, Rob. And, you know, the Falcons have just really used two things to their advantage: solid inside game and some typical outside shooting. The outside shooting has not been there for the Chiefs so far, and of course they're going to give up a lot when it comes to playing on the inside.
Take a look at the scoring, and Brian Grow has had a great first half, 14 points. Pulowski and Forbacher have chipped in with 8 apiece. Alex Carden and Justin Foley with 5 for the Glendale Falcons.
You get that kind of scoring, you got to be happy, and that'll usually get you to 40 points.
Take a look at the Chiefs. Tony Montez with 8. Right behind him is Jay Jones with 6. Josh Page with 5. Rob Samuels with 3. Brad Gillespie and Derek Underwood with 2. And Ryan McElwan with 1. So the Chiefs at 13-8, down 40-27 here at Glendale. It was 23-16 at the end of the first quarter, and the second quarter seemed to kind of return to normal in terms of an offensive pace, even though Glendale put 17 points on the board.
Well, they found themselves at one point, Rob. The largest lead of the ball game was just a single point better than this. They did lead by 14 at 31-17, and it looked like they might be in the process of really running that thing up to somewhere around 20, but the Chiefs hung in there. They tried to stay close. They got it down to within 10 at 31-21, but then the Falcons ran it back up, and they just can't really, they haven't been able to chip into it the way they need to at this particular juncture.
We're at halftime. Glendale with a 13-point lead, 40-27. We'll be back right after this. We're at halftime. Glendale with the advantage, 40-27 over the Kickapoo Chiefs. And can't pass by the opportunity to visit with Tom about Bears basketball, since he works with Ned Reynolds on the KY3 telecast, and you guys are going to be busy here in the next couple of weeks, aren't you?
Well, we'll be. I guess the team will be busy. We're just going to be along for the ride. But yeah, a lot of telecasts, a lot of televised games coming up. We go to Wichita on Monday night. Of course, the Bears tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock there, the Missouri Valley Conference of the Week. They'll be over at Hammond's, and of course they're expecting a good-sized crowd for that one. The rematch with Creighton, payback time in the eyes of the Bears. Then they turn right around on Monday. We'll be out at Wichita to play Wichita State and the Shockers. Then Thursday of next week, we go to the North Country and play the surprise team of the Missouri Valley, the Drake Bulldogs. Rudy Washington has absolutely got them going wild. And then they'll be back next Saturday to host Indiana State. So 3 televised games for us next week, and then we get to make that little short jump to Cedar Falls, Iowa the following week against Northern Iowa. Mark Burnson has got them playing pretty good right now, and Cheryl Burnett, by the same token, has the Lady Bears just playing unconscious.
One thing that we noticed, and we were talking about this, about the Bears when they put together a couple of wins at home and then had to go to Indiana State and win that ball game, and they went and won in a tough place where they have not won in a while. I thought that was the key game of this whole string.
I think if they keep this thing going and head it in the right direction, they'll be able to go back, pinpoint Indiana State, and say, yeah, that was the ball game that they got over the hump. They cleared the hurdle there because, like you said, that had just been a nightmarish place for them to go. After a nice homestand, it would have been easy to go out and get popped real easy.
Yeah.
But they didn't do it. And, of course, Johnny Murdoch, I don't care what anybody says. I'll carry a fondness for Winston Garland in my heart forever, but the way Johnny Murdoch is playing, he may make folks forget who Winston Garland ever was.
The reason why is very simple. He's going to be around for 4 years. This just his sophomore year set the freshman scoring record. I guess that was held, I want to go all the way back to Darrell Garrison. And is now closing in on the sophomore record as well.
Well, if he stays on the pace he's on, we've all put a pencil to it, and we're speculating and whatever. And I think, if Johnny has a great 4 years over there, and if they get a good supporting cast to play the next 2 seasons with him, there's no telling what he can do. He just impresses so many people. He is just such a pure shooter.
Yeah.
Catch and shoot the ball, and he does it about as well as anybody I've seen in 17, 18 years over there.
And we saw Bradley the other night on Cable 41, and they really concentrated on him. They forced him into a bad shooting night in terms of percentage, but yet he somehow managed to find a way to get his 20 points, which means it tells you that he's not necessarily a shooter, but he's developing into a scorer.
Well, that's just it. That's a great way to put it, Rob. He's become a scorer for them, and that's what makes great teams, if you have that one player that you can count on every night that will get you points no matter how hard he has to work.
Glendale and Kickapoo getting set for the second half. 40-27, the Falcons with a lead. Back right after this. Roy Green giving his Chiefs a little bit of last-minute advice as both teams hit the floor. 40-27, Glendale was led after jumping off to a 5-0 lead. Then Kickapoo was able to get back to 5-3 at one point. And they headed at 10-9 in the first half, or in the first quarter, and Glendale is led basically from the word go as the Chiefs get set to inbound here in the second half.
I think if I'm the Chiefs, and I don't know how Coach Green will approach it, but I think I'll work much harder on the higher percentage shot here to start the third quarter.
That high percentage shot is a Montez foul line J. It's no good. Tony got knocked on his wallet, and Glendale gets the rebound. Samuels, Page, Montez, Gillespie out on the floor to start the second half for the Chiefs, along with Jay Jones, and they force a travel on Glendale. Stinger, Groh, Pulowski, Carden, and Forbacher out there for the Falcons.
Well, keep your eye on Carden and Samuels and Gillespie. Those 3 players carrying 3 fouls to start the second half.
Samuels with the ball, picks up the dribble. Page with it out front. Groh against Montez, that could be a good matchup. Gillespie on the post, backs in against Carden, has to kick it to the top of the circle.
I think he had Carden where he could have really gone to work on him there, Rob, and he opted to kick the ball back out. Carden with the 3 fouls. I'm going to work on him if I'm the Chiefs.
And Carden is prone to the reach around when you pass the ball to the post. Jones lays it in as he got around Pulowski. Jones now with 8. The lead is 11 for Glendale, and they have the ball. Groh at the stripe. Forbacher outside. Chiefs have turned up the defensive intensity a little bit, and Montez is going to pay for it.
First personal on Tony. Forbacher drove around him, and all Montez could do was catch up that time.
That's the 22nd foul in this game between these 2 ball clubs.
That's a lot of hacking.
Yep.
We're headed for 40.
A lot of fouls called. Carden catches it between 2 players, and another foul, this one on Gillespie, and that's his 4th.
Well, they tried to double team on the lob down low to Carden, and Gillespie had to come on the backside and rode the back, picked up his 4th foul, and you've got to set him down. You can't let him stay out there with this much time to go in the ball game.
Carden gets it in the lane and scores over Jones. Carden with 7 points. The Falcons with a big height advantage, and the Chiefs in some foul trouble on the inside now. Page with the basketball. Samuels missed the 3-point attempt, and Groh gets the rebound.
Great move by Stinger at the top of the key.
Missed the pop, and Montez with a rebound. 1-on-3. Tony between the legs of the dribble. He'll back it out. 13 points was the lead at the half. 13 points the lead at present. 42-29. We've played 2 minutes here in the second half, and a foul is called. And Alex Carden picks up his 4th foul.
Well, this is really kind of a chess match right now, Rob. You know, one team loses a valuable inside player. Now the other team does. We'll see who decides to come back the quickest. I think the Falcons, of course, can stand to go a little longer without Carden out there than can the Chiefs without Gillespie.
Well, Stacey Estes established early that he's going to call him close, and he's called all the fouls here in the second half, I believe. Gillespie and Carden both sit down with 4. 5:55 to go here in quarter number 3.
If the Falcons can run this lead out to 15, 16 points, it's going to be very, very tough for the Chiefs to get back in it the way they've been shooting the ball so far.
Stinger looks low, can't find Foley. Chiefs doing a pretty good job inside defensively, but Foley feeds it down low to Pulowski, and Page is able to help out and knock it away.
It was a good feed. Pulowski just did not receive well.
So Kickapoo with a chance to pull to within 11 with a 2, and they throw it away.
Page trying to get the inside bounce pass that time, and they were denying down low, and I just don't believe that the big men were able to reach in and get it.
Foul trouble causing both coaches to kind of back off with the full court press that both showed. Now the Chiefs will go to a half court trap, and Foley will shoot the J from the corner. It's no good. It goes out of bounds. Last touch by Pulowski.
Well, two clubs have kind of cooled off here just a little bit. Very tight. I think the Falcons trying to protect what they have, and the Chiefs pushing just a little bit, trying to get back as fast as they can and cut the lead down.
Jones into the corner. There's Samuels, but he won't take the shot. Page at the elbow. Montez with the ball outside. He'll look at Jones. Jones wants the ball. They get it to him, and Pulowski steals it away.
Boy, that's the advantage of being 6'9" with a wingspan. He just reached around, did not commit a foul, and got the deflection.
And that shows a little sign of, I think, some maturity, because he would have reached in and committed the foul earlier in the year. Now he's doing it in a way that he's taking advantage of that boarding house reach that he's got.
Yep.
He gets it in the lane, catches it, puts it up, gets control, plays it in. 10 for Pulowski.
You know, one of the biggest things that Pulowski has had to learn, Rob, was right there, that particular play. Learn and know the fact that you are 6'9". When you get the ball on the block, you have the definite advantage.
Stinger is going to get called for the foul, and then he gets knocked to the deck by his own man. That'll be his second foul, and Samuels will shoot.
Now, to follow up on Pulowski, when Pulowski gets the ball on the block or inside, in a game like this, he doesn't need to be impatient as long as he doesn't get whistled for the 3 seconds, because they're not going to be able to deny that chip shot off the glass.
As long as he keeps the ball high in the air, nobody can get to it. Free throw by Samuels is good. He has 4 points. That's probably my pet peeve, and the thing that he's getting to where he doesn't do as much. I mean, you can count in a lot of games on your hand the number of times the postman will catch the ball and dribble.
Well,
once you put it down, you're in trouble.
I don't know who it is, Big East, ACC. There's something about the big men. They think they've got to dribble once before they can shoot. I guess it's all of us short folks that wish we had their advantage.
Stinger in the lane, tried to feed it back to Foley, who wasn't ready for the pass.
Had him 3-on-1, and that's called overpassing. One too many that time. And I think really Foley went to the wrong person.
Well, he went in. The ball got back to Stinger, and the problem was, whenever you give the ball to the point guard, you've got to be ready to get it back, and he wasn't.
Yeah, when he's underneath, he's not usually going to try to shoot.
Montez, he's got a sweet jump shot. He's in double figures now with 10. First Chief to get there.
All right, now the Chiefs are back to 11. They're a bucket away from cutting it to single figures, and that's the goal they need to be at right now.
Forbacher in some trouble. Groh comes over to help him out. Probably need to get it down to 9, maybe 7 by the end of the quarter. 3.5 minutes away. That's a good goal.
I think so. If you can go into the final quarter. There's Pulowski again. Being patient, not rushing.
With the lead in the foul trouble, they're pounding the ball inside, taking it nice and deliberate now.
Well, and the thing about it is the Falcons are keeping them at bay with Carden sitting on the bench, and of course the Chiefs need Gillespie out there.
Montez for three. He has 13, 2 trays.
There's your lead down to 10 now.
Stinger inside to Pulowski. Jones doing a pretty good job putting pressure on him. It's just that Pulowski with that big wingspan is keeping him behind him.
Well, Pulowski just is such a great target to hit in there if you can get the ball into him.
Stinger outside to Forbacher. Groh down to Pulowski. He'll turn, shoot on the baseline. Shot an air ball, but Foley keeps it alive. So Glendale will keep it.
I think it's pretty obvious the Falcons have decided they're going inside. They've passed up a couple of outside shots.
Foul called on Jones. And one thing, we saw the first half, the pace was to get up and down the floor. Now the pace of the game for the Falcons is to keep it in the 50s.
Half court, yep. They're going to try to keep it. You know, they've got the lead. They know that they own the inside so far. Be patient, take their time.
Jones with his second. Ball out of bounds. Glendale will keep it.
Well, Pulowski's working inside. I mean, they're trying. He keeps moving. Give Pulowski credit. He's not standing on one particular spot. He's moving across the lane, looking for the inlet pass.
Stinger out front. Groh. He thought about the three, but penetrates into the lane and kicks it off, and there's 3 seconds.
Well, just as I brag about Pulowski and how well he was moving, and he gets called, and now here's where Kickapoo's been trying to get for minutes and minutes now, Rob, is back with a chance to cut it to single digits.
Hit a 3 this time, and you've turned it into a ball game again.
I think you're right.
Glendale in the zone. They're going to try and deny the perimeter shot. Pulowski pokes it away. And a foul is called on Forbacher.
Well, I think Forbacher was on the reach. From our vantage point 50 feet away, I thought he might have had ball, but Wade Terrell much closer than us and said he caught him on the wrist.
The Falcons perhaps disturbed by the fact that Stacey Estes was closer than Wade, and Wade came from under the basket to make the call. But I think either way, he reached in, and that's going to get you a foul.
Still a big possession for the Chiefs here.
Get it in. Foley tips it, steals it. And Glendale, for the moment, has been able to weather the trip down floor that could have gotten them under double digits.
It's definitely turned into a half-court game for the Falcons.
Groh, top of the key. The 3 is good. Groh with 17, his third 3 of the night.
You might remember that as a critical shot, Rob. That might have been the one that held him off permanently.
Samuels with the ball. Cross floor to Montez, who tries to answer and leaves it short.
He shot with his wrist that time and didn't shoot with his shot with his arms and didn't shoot with his wrist.
Down to a minute to play in the third quarter. The lead at 13 for Glendale, pounded inside to Pulowski, and it's 50. 14 for Pulowski, and it's 41 to make it 51-36. McElwain will come in at the next break, and you talk about a big 3 by Groh, and that seemed to turn things.
Well, you had a chance to get it to 8. He quickly took it back up to 13. I mean, that's a 5-point swing.
Now you're looking at a 7-point swing with Pulowski getting the basket. Jones with a nice move into the lane is now in double figures with 10.
I think Falcons are going to string it out, shoot for 1 here.
Kickapoo trying to trap. Stinger doing a good job to get away from it.
Watch Stinger and Page. They're going at each other. Stinger gave Page, Rob, a shot to the chest, and when Page retaliated with the swipe, he got called.
Well, now I'll take it back one further. I saw the beginning of it, and Page got his shot in. Stinger responded with the one you saw, and then the officials did a good job waiting, let everybody retaliate, and then when Page made the exaggerated swipe, he got called for the foul.
Second foul on Page, 14 fouls now on the Chiefs. 17 seconds. Falcons will work for the last shot.
51-38. Stinger near mid-floor. He's double-teamed. Gets it to Groh with 10. Chiefs doing a good job with a trap, putting pressure on.
That trap is very, very nice for the Chiefs.
Groh is open for 20. In and out, no. And that's the end of the quarter.
Boy, you could have absolutely run the folks out of the gym if he'd have knocked that one down.
Montez and Carden exchange words as the quarter comes to a close. 51-38, Glendale. Well, both coaches, or at least Glendale, making some substitutions. Pulowski was out for the last couple of seconds of the third quarter. He'll come back in. So will Foley. And Carden was out there with 4 fouls. And let's see if he starts the fourth quarter for Glendale.
Well, they did. They were very effective, Rob. Look what they did. They ran a 13-point lead to a 15-point lead and did most of it without Carden out there. The key for the Chiefs is the fact that you've got to get Gillespie. Now, Gillespie is not going to start the fourth quarter. But
neither is Carden.
Yeah, but Gillespie has really not been a key. He's only had 2 points so far. So, and now we're Wade Terrell talking to Page and talking to Stinger and saying, "Come on, guys, got to keep it healthy here." And Page and Stinger, they're just a good rivalry is what that is.
And I think, though, they were concerned about the end of the third quarter, and that's why Wade Terrell, the head official, stepped in and pulled the trigger on that little meeting. Groh pulled the trigger on a shot a little premature and missed it short. Samuels to Page outside Glendale. Back to the zone, 1-3-1 it looks like.
What makes that miss a little important is if the Chiefs are able to come back just like that and score quickly, and in the first couple of minutes cut into this.
Jones now with 12, and the game is an 11-point game. Pulowski at the high post to Stinger. Glendale looking for their 19th win of the year. Almost a lock to get another 20-win season.
Just an absolute turnaround from last year.
Foul is called.
I believe it's going to go against Samuels, and he'll join the 4-foul club.
So Samuels now with 4, all of his fouls in the second half. And everybody's going to say, well, Page hit the deck, but what happened was Samuels reached in first, and then Groh and Page collide. And that means that foul, the reach-in, took precedent. It doesn't help because Glendale throws down a bounds.
Miscommunication between Forbacher and Stinger that time. Forbacher inbounding, had Stinger looking. Stinger turned his back, and that's when Forbacher tossed it.
Minute deep into the fourth quarter, and Pulowski is going to get called for a foul as Jones starts his move to the rack.
3 on Pulowski, and now, Rob, all of a sudden again, you see the Chiefs in a situation where they could get it down to single digits, and they could do it in about the first minute of the quarter. They're going to have to get it done quickly. And I don't know, and you know, if you're the Falcons, a big thing here is keep people out of foul trouble, because we may have to go 4-corner on this thing and try to eat some clock.
Inside, McElwain puts it up, and Foley commits his 3rd foul. You know, the Chiefs have gone to something that's relatively simple there. And I'm talking about when Jones caught the ball at the high post and drove the lane. They've pretty much isolated Jones, and he's proven that he can beat Pulowski from out there.
Forbacher, Pulowski, and Foley 3 fouls. Carden 4 fouls. So the big people, or the bigger people, I guess you should say, for the Falcons in some trouble.
It's a 10-point game.
McElwain and Gillespie collectively have 5 points.
McElwain with 3 now. And he hits the free throws. It's a 9-point game.
There's your single digit that we talked about so much.
Now go back to that 3-pointer that Groh hit to run it out to 13. You take that one off the board, and you're looking at a lot closer game.
Well, they've got Pulowski pinched down low.
Foley has the pass tipped, but Groh is right there. Dishes to Pulowski in the lane. Scores and is fouled. He took his time to get set and then put it in, and that gave the Chiefs time to catch up to him and foul him. And McElwain with his 3rd.
Well, Pulowski, really the thing that made that work was the fact that, was it Foley that was down on the baseline to recover the tipped ball?
It was Groh, I think, that caught the pass.
Groh was there to catch the pass. That's what made it happen.
Foley's the guy who threw it. He saw Pulowski open initially. Groh picked up the tip and got it back to Andy, who completes the 3-point play, and he has 17, and he's tied with Groh for game scoring honors.
Well, here again, the Chiefs, Rob, are going to have to be somewhat impatient because they're going to have to start scoring at a good clip here.
Montez to Page outside, and as he shoots. Groh blocked him out and knocked him on his wallet.
Will that be a three-shot foul? I think it will.
Foul number 14, Brian Groh.
Should be.
Yeah, I believe he's going to shoot three. So Page, who has not been to the free throw line tonight, will step up, and everybody can take a siesta here because it'll be a while before Page is done shooting.
There's one. This is where Ed would say, okay, if he hits all three, he earns them. But he hates this rule when you take and hit one of three free throws or two of three. There's two.
Well, you can go to work on the guy and you can wear him out. You develop some fatigue sitting there shooting free throws.
Mark Owen will check in at the next break, and Page gets all three free throws. He has 8 points, and Montez sits down, and Owen comes in.
And again, it's down to 9, and here comes the press.
Stinger in the backcourt gets away from Underwood. They feed it to Pulowski. He gets the ball up high when traffic is around him, and Glendale beats it with 6 minutes to go. 9 points is the Falcon lead.
I would say patience on the part of the Falcons, very important here. Don't try to get it back anytime quickly. Well, what do I know?
Groh with 20. Nothing you could say about that. Just, he had the open shot. He's in the rhythm, so he fogged it in.
He's got 4 trays tonight. He only has 1 deuce, Rob. 4 trays, a deuce, and a bunch of free throws.
And 20 points. Page at the foul line. Double pump, jump, won't fall. Jones with the rebound.
Big board by Jones.
It's getting physical inside, and a travel is called. Foley and Underwood were exchanging forearm shivers down low.
Well, it was Bow and Dokes for a while there. There were people slapping and hacking, and to call the turnover, I guess, is about the safest thing because I wouldn't have known who to call the foul on.
Montez in, Underwood out. Gillespie inbounds in the lane, and he is going to be fouled by Pulowski.
4 on Pulowski. Carden has been setting all this time. Pulowski has really been a scorer tonight. I don't know if you're Coach Keltner, whether you, well, I just read Pulowski's lips. He looked at the coach and said, I'm all right. So I guess he'll continue for a while.
Gillespie will shoot free throws. It's no good. Jones gets the rebound. Missed it inside. Foley had his hands on it. It goes through everybody's hands to Page out front. 12-point lead for Glendale. Owen on the perimeter. Montez, step behind the line. Page will belly up to the line and leave it short. Rebound run down by Jones. He's in jail and takes timeout.
Boy, I'll tell you, smart hustle by Jones that time. Foley clearly had the rebound. All he had to do was go get it, and Jones just outran him to the ball.
57-45 Glendale with 4:51 to go, and we'll be back right after this. Rob Evans along with Tom Mast. We're back at Glendale High School where the Falcons lead the Chiefs by 12 with 4:51 to go, and Glendale, or excuse me, the Chiefs take time out and they have the ball.
Free throw shooting has been a lot of it, and a good deal of it for the Chief are, Rob. 16 of 21 from the line after a slow start. The Falcons are 11 of 12 from the charity stripe. And probably there'll be a whole bunch more free throws before we get done with this.
Well, you take a look as Carden comes back into the lineup for Glendale. He's playing with 4. Pulowski's playing with 4.
Samuels and Gillespie playing with 4.
And a couple of other guys have 3. Montez hits the tray. 16 for Montez. 57-48. The lead is 9. Carden lost the handle. And Kickapoo has it back.
Well, on that press, the Falcons tossed the ball into the near court and relied on their big people to have to handle it. The guards did not come to help that time, and Carden guilty of the turnover, and the Chiefs, Rob, could get this back to 7, maybe 6.
Shot is no good by Montez. Gillespie with a putback, no. Pulowski gets the rebound, and a foul is called on Jay Jones.
Jones picks up his third, and I want to tell you, there was a lot of hacking and going on inside.
Josh Page and Andy Pulowski were talking to each other and then all of a sudden exchanged fives, and Pulowski once again told Mike Keltner, I'm all right, don't worry.
Well, I'll tell you, Gillespie had a great inside shot that time, and just the height advantage of the Falcons was there to deny it. And as I said, Rob, for the next 4:18, free throws are going to be a lot of the offense in this ball game.
Pulowski drops it through. He has 18. He gets the bonus. That was the 37th foul called in this game.
Wow.
18 for one team, 19 for the other. Pulowski with 19. 59-48. Page into the lane, off to Montez for three. Count it!
Montez for three.
19 for Montez. He's the Chiefs' leading scorer, and it's 59-51. And Carden has it taken away by Gillespie, but he stepped out of bounds with it.
Boy, but I'll tell you what, the Falcons very fortunate there, because once again the press was just effective.
It's an 8-point game. Stinger goes into the backcourt to get it. We're down to 4 minutes to play. Groh with the ball out front. He's got 20 tonight for Glendale. He's the game's leading scorer. Vorbacher out front. 3:40 to go. Vorbacher into the lane. Off to Carden in the corner. Alex can't do anything with it. Chiefs try to trap. Glendale with good ball movement.
Oh, and Stinger just got popped in the face by Page.
And Montez fouls Vorbacher.
And that might be, I'm just going to say might be, a bit of a makeup there. I'm not sure Wade Terrell was there to see the other foul.
Tony Montez, that's his second.
Montez gets called for his second. Roy Green wanted a 5-second call. Glendale wanted a foul on Page, and Vorbacher's going to shoot free throws. So nobody's happy except Vorbacher.
And what have we made it to? About 30, 38 or 39 fouls now?
It's 18. No, it's 2018, so it's 38 fouls. Chiefs have 20 fouls, Glendale 18. Vorbacher with 9 points, looking at double digits.
Well, on 3 occasions, the Chiefs had gotten back to within 9. They were back to within 8, and now they're down 10 again.
Vorbacher with 10, and it's 61-51 with 3:20 left to go in the ball game. Page takes her to the house. And a block is called on Pulowski, and he just fouls out.
He's out of the game. Page with good penetration that time. Almost got the ball to drop. Coach Keltner says all of his players, come here. He's going to lecture about the last 3:17.
That is his fifth foul.
So Pulowski fouls out with 3:17 to play.
Great night for Pulowski. He started a little bit slow on the offensive end, and boy, did he come on, Rob.
He certainly did, and I'm not sure that anybody liked to see him foul out on that type of play, a block charge type situation, but he goes out with 19 points, and Justin Foley is going to come in and take his place.
Now, I really don't know how this will alter things for the Chiefs on their attack and how they defend against the Falcons, but the defense that's working the best for the Chiefs right now is the press.
One thing you got to remember, they're one foul call away from taking the advantage on the inside in terms of height, because Carden is playing with 4. And if he goes out, and all of a sudden Gillespie and Jones will have the size advantage on the inside.
That's a good point. Great point.
Page with the first free throw. He has 9. He looks for double figures.
If anyone has to play smart, Rob, you're right. It's Alex Carden.
Glendale getting it into Groh. He protects the ball well, and Page is called for his 3rd foul.
You look up at that clock and look at your watch and figure out how long it's going to take to play the last 3:14.
Well, I knew that it was going to be this kind of game because I was talking with one of my colleagues today, Steve Barnes, this afternoon. And Steve, in his infinite wisdom, said, well, it should be a short night because neither team fouls a lot and they both play fast.
That's called a bad omen.
Free throw is good by Groh.
Boy, Groh is just having a super night.
He's got 21. Got them both, give him 22. And it's a 10-point game with 3:10 to play.
I still think it's a matter of being a little patient by the Chiefs here. Don't come down and try to score in 10 seconds.
Jones on the perimeter to Page. 3 minutes to play. Samuels against Stinger, takes him to the rack and draws a foul on Stu Stinger. That'll be his third.
The fouls are mounting up.
Of the starters for Glendale, really of the starters in the game, only Montez for the Chiefs has 2 and Groh has 2. Everybody else has more than that in the foul department.
And they've all played a lot of minutes. Carden got a lot of setting time when he picked up his 4, so did Gillespie, but everybody else has been out there.
6 points now for Samuels. Mike Keltner wonders if they have any players left before the end of the night. McElwain will come in at the next break. Samuels gets both free throws. He has 7 points. And Gillespie will sit down.
Now that's 3 times now that the Chiefs have been able to cut the lead to 8. See how the press works for them here.
Inbounds it comes to Vorbacher. Off to Stinger. Stinger to Vorbacher. They beat it with a pass to Groh, and Carden has it now in the corner.
You got to figure the Falcons are going to hold on to this thing for as long as they can.
Or until a high percentage shot presents itself.
Shot develops, yeah.
And the way Groh has been shooting it, that could be a 20-footer at just about any time. Carden all alone underneath, missed it. Oh, they called offensive foul is called.
Well, Carden got a nice lob inside that time from Foley, and Wade Terrell says nope. Said he hit him before the shot went up. And now Mike Keltner's he's going to talk to his team again.
I think it's only because he knows that if he talks to the referee, it's not going to do any good.
Well, it's over. It's a done deal. He's lost his 2 big men. You've got 2.5 minutes to play, and I would guarantee you that in the Falcon huddle, it's called ball control, smart passes, and in the Chiefs huddle, Roy Green is probably saying, all right, the trap has been working. We now have a real good chance to get some bad passes. They don't have the big people to lob the ball to.
One thing about it, Wade Terrell sold that call well to everybody, but I'm not sure it was there. I really am not. And if I'm a coach, I would be madder than all get out if my big man, who is wide open going up into the air, gets fouled out on that type of play.
Yeah.
Much as Pulowski on a block charge down below. So we'll see what happens. Montez at the 3-point line. Gets the J. He has 21. He penetrated into the lane to hit it.
Got a 6-point ball game.
Groh gets it to Vorbacher out front. Glendale's going to spread things out a bit.
Well, they have to, Rob. This game has changed. Their plan of attack has changed drastically. Under 2 to go now.
Vorbacher guarded by Montez. Groh to Stinger. Down to a minute 50.
Here's the key, Rob. The Falcon players have got to come help. They've got to come help.
Montez reaches in and picks up his 3rd foul.
Well, everybody's been shooting. I mean, the shooting percentages from the free throw line to this point have been outstanding, Rob. Both clubs shooting 75% or better, but now's when it counts. They'll both have to shoot a lot.
63-57, Groh with 22 points. Make it 23 now.
What a ball game.
Gillespie will come back in at the next break, and here's the situation that we were talking about with Gillespie, McElwain, and Jones on the inside. Now they've got the advantage inside.
And watch Gillespie. He only has 2 points tonight, Rob. If there's a player that's hungry to get the ball and do something, it'll be him.
Groh gets both of them, give him 24 unofficially. 8 points the lead. Down to a minute 40 to go. Montez for 3. No good.
Big miss.
And Vorbacher with a big rebound. Page goes over to try for a steal. And now a foul is called.
Page has his 4th. So Page, Samuels, and Gillespie on the floor for the Chiefs with 4 fouls. Nobody for the Falcons with 4 fouls. They've lost the people there, but they do have a lot of folks with 3.
But now, we just lower all the side baskets, and we'll have our free throw shooting contest and go about our business.
Well, if Vorbacher can get the margin back up to 10, that's going to be 4 possessions for the Chiefs.
65-57, Forbacher ties his shoelaces and steps to the line. Free throw is good. Yeah, I hate to see a game like this come down to free throw shooting. Free throw is no good. Forbacher with 11.
That was only the second missed free throw of the night for the Falcons. Both officials called the charge, Rob. It's good when you see them. They get together on that, and they called the charge, so there was no question. Samuels, however, had him right in his shoulder.
He fouls out with a minute 25 to go, and he becomes the third player in this game to foul out. I just wish that you'd leave, and I know they established early that they were calling things tight, but I still wish you would see the main players out there to decide the issue at the end.
Yeah, you hate to come back, and what you really hate to do, Rob, is you hate to bring a 7, 8, or 9 player off the bench and ask him to step to the line and make free throws.
That really isn't fair to him either.
Yeah.
But
well, a ton of free throws in this one and a ton of fouls.
So Samuels becomes the first Chief to foul out, and Mark Owen is in to replace him.
Well, even though, excuse me, Rob, even though it's, well, now the Falcons called timeout, so we'll delay. Even though the margin is just 9, the Chiefs very much with their long-range capabilities can do something.
66-57 with a minute 25 to go. Glendale with their first timeout back right after this. Minute 25 to go. There's your score, and Glendale. Now, we've been saying this most of the fourth quarter, but it's true. They hit their foul shots, and they're going to take care of business.
Well, the Chiefs, Rob, have done an excellent job on this full-court press. This is as good a press as I've seen anybody throw most of this season.
Yeah.
They've been very, they haven't created a tremendous amount of turnovers, but enough to keep it in force. It's just a matter of whether your players can keep it going.
And it's not necessarily getting a turnover. It's forcing Glendale, when they go to the half-court game after that, to maybe rush a shot or to do something after they get in the half-court set. So the press can pay dividends even there. Foley ahead to Stinger, and he's going to drive for the layup.
That may be your ball game right there. First bucket of the night for Stinger.
We lead 11. Page the other way. Gets the bounce off the glass. He has 12. And Kickapoo is going to use their third timeout with a minute 11 to go. It's 68-59. Glendale with the advantage. We're back right after this. With a minute and 11 to go, it's a 9-point game. The Chiefs have one timeout, Glendale with 3 remaining in the last minute and 11 seconds. Glendale looking for their 19th win of the year. Kickapoo trying to keep a 3-game winning streak alive. I think Roy Green, regardless of the outcome of this one, is pleased with the way his season's going. I'm not sure he expected more than 10, 11, or 12 wins before the year was over. He got some football players in Underwood and Gillespie to help him out, and they've turned into some valuable contributors for this ball club.
Well, with the lack of a solid inside game, they've done quite well.
Jones is going to get called for a foul, and that'll be his 4th. So now Gillespie and Jones and Page with 4, and Samuels is fouled out for the Chiefs. Pulowski and Cardner both gone. Stinger and Forbacher with 3, along with Foley with 3 for Glendale, and Mike Morlock will go to the line and shoot.
Now they're reconfirming that the foul was against Jones.
Michael Morlock at the line.
Morlock has not been on the scoring chart so far tonight, Rob, and he gets his first chance.
Now the bonus.
Morlock earns the bonus.
I'm going to do a real quick count on free throws for here and let you know what this thing looks like.
I'm glad you're keeping track. You're the one with the computer. It takes a while to count them up. Block with 1.
I've got the Falcons unofficially at 22 of 25.
Forbacher called for the foul on the Page drive, and that's his 4th. Both coaches up. Mike Keltner not questioning the call, he's questioning his player.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted to see Forbacher do that.
And I think the unasked question in that was, what was that? Underwood back in, and Gillespie sits out.
Well, Rob, the way I've got it, and of course it's very rough right now, I've got the Falcons at 22 of 25 and the Chiefs at 20 of 25 as Page goes to the line.
Josh with 13 tonight.
If he makes this, Rob, I'll have him at both at 22 of 25, 50 free throws.
Page with 14 points. 8-point lead for the Falcons, and they're going to break the press. 3-on-1. Forbacher in the lane for the Baby Chiefs.
That should be your ball game.
13 for Forbacher. 10-point lead. Under a minute to play. Page from 20. No. Foley. And a foul.
I think Mark Owen's going to be guilty of that. We'll find out.
It's Owen's first foul.
Mark Owen, it's his first.
Go to the other end and shoot.
0-0 Ryan Helming into the ball game.
Ryan Helming is into the ball game for the Chiefs.
Well, it's at the 4-possession situation right now, Rob, so I just don't think for Kickapoo the chances are very good.
Foley with his first point since the first quarter. Now with 6 in the game. He came off the bench real quick and picked up 5 quick points. Has been quiet until now, and he has 7. It's a 12-point game. Montez jumps from 20, goes 19, and the rebound is taken off by Forbacher, and he is fouled by Helming.
Lots of free throws.
Too many to count at this point with a half a minute to go, 32 seconds to be exact.
20 Greg Bouillon into the ball game for the Chiefs.
Forbacher with 13 points will go to the line.
Forbacher with the bonus.
There's one.
Brad Forbacher is inching his way up the scoring chart.
14 now, looking at 15, and we're going to see some subs for the Falcons. Forbacher gets them both. Aaron Crawford, Richard Greer into the lineup. Rowe and Forbacher sit down.
Folks, stay back from the playing surface.
Page off to Helming. He's going to jump from 16 feet. Maybe a little further out than that, and he knocks it down. We get a whistle and a foul. Helming is one of the players that is going to be an up-and-comer for the Chiefs in the next couple of years.
Yep. There's a lot of players in the city like that. You know, Hillcrest is going to have a tremendous underclass moving up the ranks in another season or so. Robbie Montgomery is going to be stepping aside as he exits as a senior. And I know Nate Quinn at Hillcrest is very excited. And, of course, at Central, Denny Hunt has got some excellent underclass coming along. So there's going to be no absence of talent.
Underwood was called for the foul. Stinger with the first of what will turn out to be 2 free throws.
Like I said, Rob, this one might not get out of the 50s.
Yeah. Remind me the next time not to listen. Stinger gets them both. He has 4. And into the lineup, Eric Post. And all that is left to be decided is the margin.
Well, Stinger only gets 4, but boy, what a role he played tonight in helping Glendale beat the press.
Helming takes baseline and is fouled with 14 seconds to go. Foul is going to be called on
Tyler McGuire, it looks like.
Fouls on McGuire, his first. Helming shooting 2.
I understood all of that, did you?
Something like that.
First free throw by Helming won't fall. We're shooting 2 free throws. We have been since
forever.
Yeah. Missed them both. Out of bounds to Kickapoo. Well, the Chiefs are going to fall to 13-9, 4-4 in the conference. Glendale at 6-2 and 19-3 for the year as Page misses from the three-point line, and McGuire gets the layup.
McGuire from Greer. That's a lot.
Really doesn't carry the score.
Our final is 79-63 Glendale. Back with a final word right after this. Yep, score was going to stay in the 50s. 79-63 our final. I tell you what, now going into the ball game, that was a very good assessment and one that I agreed with 100%. But both ball clubs got out of the gate quick. A 23-16 first quarter. The only lull, I guess you could say, offensively was in the third quarter after Glendale outscored Kickapoo 17-11 in the second quarter to go up by 13 at the half. They had an 11-11 fourth quarter. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves there. We'll run down the scoring for you in a moment. Fourth quarter, 28-25.
Yeah, I mean, you won't see high school game. You won't see 53 points in a high school ball. Now, granted, a lot of it did come at the charity stripe, but you know that's a ton of points for two teams to put in the hoop in 8 minutes of play.
And you mentioned in the fourth quarter it was a 6-point game at one point, was it not?
63-57. The Chiefs had fought back, gotten within 6. So don't let the 16-point margin fool you. It was a much closer ball game than that.
It was played at about 13, 14 points and then got to 6 and then got back out to its current 16-point margin. Now let's take a look at the leading scorers in the game. The Falcons, Brian Groh with 24, Andy Pulowski with 19, Brad Forbacher with 15. After that, you're down to Justin Foley and Alex Carden with 7. Carden fouled out with 2:29 to go. Pulowski fouled out with 3:17 to play. And Stinger hit 4. McGuire got 2. Morlock hit 1 in the ball game. 21 points, 21 from Tony Montez. I wanted to double check. 14 for Josh Page. Jay Jones with 12. And then you're down to Rob Samuels with 7. He fouled out with 1:25 to go. Ryan McElwan had 3. And then Brad Gillespie, Derek Underwood, Ryan Helming all with 2 in the ballgame. McElwan hit for 3. Gillespie, Underwood, and Helming with 2. And our final is 79-63 in a game that was characterized by a lot of free throws and a lot of fouls and 3 qualifications because of fouls.
Because of fouls. And I tell you, Rob, if you really want to look at something, Groh and Montez more or less counter each other and cancel each other with their scoring. But you get 19 from Pulowski and 2 from Gillespie, and that's a big part of your ball game right there.
Our final 79-63 next week here on Cable 20. A tape-delayed version of the Catholic Fighting Irish and the Greenwood Blue Jays. That game will be a rematch of a semifinal meeting in the Greene County League tournament that was played earlier this evening. We'll have the replay next weekend right here on Cable 20 Sports. And we invite you to join us for that. Our thanks, Tom, for sitting in with us, taking Ed Beach's spot. I hope the little guy is getting along a little bit better tonight than he was earlier today.
A lot of laryngitis running around. We'll tell Ed to get better real quick out there. A lot of fun. Enjoyed it, Rob.
79-63 our final. Good night from Glendale.